thing that AI will never replace is how to beat a woman in an argument. That's the only thing. It's the only thing that I'll never beat. So,
however, if you come up with that app through AI, it will probably go for $1 trillion. If
we would
you
love
could
to
come
talk
up with
to you.
that. Yeah.
ChatGPT opened their ChatGPT Health, and over 10 million people have put their medical records into a ChatGPT, which is it's open source. It's like putting it on Google.
Absolutely.
So, and I get it. It's like, I tell my mom, I'm like, stop reading WebMD. I was like, you're going to be crippled by the end of the day. You started off with a headache. Now you're coming off like you're almost blind at the end of the day. Like, come on. Hey, Al, hope you're doing well, buddy.
Very good, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. And you know what? I came across this topic, and I thought about you because you talked about this a little bit earlier in one of our other episodes about AI, and a lot of us don't even think about how far AI is going. And I saw this title today, and I was like, wow, I never thought about it. How parents are not paying attention to their kids' chatbot in their phone, and how they're introducing AI to a lot of toys, and experts are sounding the alarm saying, hey, pay attention to this AI bot because these things are learning and they're just spewing stuff out to your kids and you're not paying attention.
Yeah, I just saw, it's funny you bring that up. Last night, I watched an interview with the man that invented Anthropic, which is one of the larger ones. He's the guy that invented this, that put it together, one of the authors, as they say, of Anthropic. He said, if you do not put guardrails on AI, this could be dangerous. And I'm already seeing it online that if you have a pretty good eye, and most people don't, but if you have a pretty good eye, you can see where the fake is, that it's AI, it's not a real person, but they're getting better and better and better with that. So for our business, the movie business, that we started looking at, not for the acting side or on screen, but for pitch decks and things that you want to put together for product placement and or investors that come and invest in our movies. For that stuff, the proper stuff, so to speak, it is amazing as the learning curve that we're in now, Marlene and I, of what it can do. The scary thing about it is hearing you say that children now can go in their room, or kids can go in their room and research anything on their phone. And that's where, like this guy was saying, the guardrails need to be put in place.
Well, these toys, I mean, it starts to act like an actual person, right?
Yeah.
When you give it a little bit of information, it'll give you back information, but it starts to become a conversation. And what they're saying is, like you said, there's no guards at all, and none of these bots. And the experts are saying, these conversations, first of all, they're fake because there's nobody there. And second of all, they could be affecting your child's mental health. And and we've been reading about this, how adults are taking it a little bit too far and actually creating, boyfriends or girlfriends and stuff like that. So in a children's world, I can see how this could be detrimental. But it's funny because I asked this question to somebody, but like, hey, do you check your kid's cell phone? And they're like, well, they have their own privacy. And I was like, what? What do you mean their own privacy? I remember when my parents used to go through my notebooks.
Yeah.
We didn't even have phones. It was notebooks, and I would get upset, but still they would go through them. So,
the comment that I got back from my parents when I said, "This is my room." Uh, the very calm comment was, "It might be your room, but it's in my house. So as long as you're under my roof, they're my
Right.
rules." And it actually turned out well. But yeah, the guardrails that when I heard him say that, I would have
Mm,
asked the question, well, if you think it should be put guardrails on it, why didn't you, when you
right.
invented it, to put guardrails on it? It's, you invented something that could be used for good, but it could also be used for very negative things. And
Correct.
I would think that, is that up to the responsibility of the inventor of AI in different forms to put the guardrails on it? And I think right now, the horse is already out of the barn, so to speak. I'm already seeing it. But the good thing that I have been, I'm on a learning curve right now with AI, is
Mm,
that you can find a lot of information uh, that you would take forever to find out, maybe within 30 seconds. And the one thing that I notice is, if you are a middleman for something, like you're in the cigar business, so you have a lounge,
mhm,
uh, if you buy your product, let's say from the middleman who has the deal with the cigar company, the first person that's now going to leave that scenario is the middleman, because AI now can find the cigars that you want, go to them directly and say, "I have a lounge. This is how many I sell, a week. I like
correct.
to buy your product." The other thing that I'm noticing too, what cost people a lot of money at one point, PR agencies, like for our business, the movie business, PR agencies, PR agents, a lot of stuff in post. And for the audience that doesn't know, when you finish a movie or finish a TV show, you have to go into post to color correct it,
Mhm,
sound correct it, so it looks great when you see it up on your TV or up on the screen. Uh, you now are getting to the degree that you don't need those people. You can go out and have AI as, quote, an agent do the work for free that
correct.
they would do, that you would spend thousands of dollars.
You know, what's funny is that you mentioned that, and this tool, because it is an amazing tool and it's very helpful in a lot of ways. But
Hmm.
a few weeks back, I was very curious. I love colognes, and I'm like, let me ask it if it could produce for me a scent that would
Mm,
complement cigars. And cigars has a peculiar smell to it, right? That it's not
yeah,
offensive
right.
to most of us.
Hmm.
But I wanted to see if the same way that we pair drinks and food and stuff like that. I was like, huh, I wonder if there is a scent that could be made. And man, it can. I got to tell you, it just went brrrr, and like in less than 5 minutes, it told me
Yeah.
step by step by step. And if I was more of a chemist, I could make it myself. But if you take the time, you can actually do it yourself. So I think it's an incredible tool. But I do believe that we need to be watchful over it. And
Yeah.
I still believe we're in time to put some guardrails, like the gentleman says, to it to bring it back a little bit before it's too late.
Yeah, and I think that what people, the everyday people,
Mm,
I was in a meeting yesterday, uh, in an unrelated business, and I asked the woman that owns it. I said, "Are you dealing with, AI yet for your business?" And she said, "I just started, after hearing about it again and again and seeing it. I'm just starting to look into it." So I think that there's a pretty good amount of people that are
mm,
not really looking at this, that it's not because you don't own a business, it will affect you even as a consumer at
correct.
a certain point, where if you build these agents, these AI agents that work 24 hours a day uh, while you're sleeping, and then you get up in the morning and it gives you a report of who they found, what was the cost, what's the turnaround, or if, let's say, you're going on a vacation. This is one we saw last night. You can book a vacation anywhere you want in the world if you give it enough prompts. And that's the thing that we were discussing earlier.
Mhm,
So for those people who are on a learning curve like we are, uh, the experts that we watch tell you there's never enough information that you can give AI to come back with an answer. Don't think that you can tell it 5 or 6 things. And we notice now, they give you a box, and that box might be that big, and that's a lot of lines that we go beyond that box. And the first 2 or 3 times it'll kick back some of what we want, but
Yeah.
some of what we don't want. So you have to keep going in and saying, no, I want this, skew this here. The kids in the room is like,
Yeah, man. And
yeah,
and people got to be extremely careful with it, right? It's still, at the end of the day, it's still a tool. It's not 100%.
right.
We talked about you and I talked about this article I was reading where this professor that educates detectives how to get people to admit when they've committed a crime. This guy actually took a weekend and he was just grinding into one of the chat GPTs until they made it confess something that the chat GPT hadn't done. So so we still understand that this is not a
Wow.
completely perfect
No.
tool because this professor made it do a false confession, but still it is an amazing tool. You just got to be very careful. Like we talked
Yeah, and
not too long ago.
that's now.
Yeah,
This thing moves so fast.
it really
Within a
does.
year, it will make this look like it's in the Stone Age. So that's the good thing, but that's also the danger thing. One of the other things that I watched an interview I did not know who this influencer was,
Mm,
but it was a guy that was doing an interview, and uh, I still laugh as I'm about to tell you because it's crazy to me, but this is the way he does work. So he goes out and he built these AI agents to go find him product placement, same way that he could be the spokesperson. And he explained in this interview and then showed how to do it. He never, ever gets on the phone with the company. And I'm looking at that going,
wow,
what do you mean? I want to hear somebody's voice. I want them to hear my voice. I need to
correct.
talk to them, or even if it's a Zoom call. And the interviewer said, "You do the whole deal through AI." He said, "From A to Z." And
Wow,
he said that AI, the way he's done it, because he's at a different level, negotiated the deal with the company. So now, in all my years of negotiating in the entertainment business, it's like uh, the agent called somebody or had lunch and
hmm,
made a deal. So are you telling me that the people that are at the position to say yay or nay in a company also answers you back that way? That you never get on the phone, you never see. And the answer, according to this guy, and I asked him, "How many deals have you done?" He said, "Oh, I've done several." That I'll read it back, and AI will say to me, "I suggest you take this deal," or "I suggest you could sweeten the pie."
wow.
So now my other question is that eliminating representation to a degree? Um, another way of AI now can spit out contracts.
Yes.
Now that is a real scary area for me because I want to sit with my attorney on the phone, on a call, whatever it is, on Zoom, uh, and it's programming it to be so exact that you can take it now, print it out to an attorney to look over real quick and say, yeah, this is good to go. So would I venture down that road at this point in time? No, but people already have. And as I said, this guy's already made deals with companies that never got on the phone.
You know, it's funny that you say that. We had one of our clients. He owns a big electrical company, and
Mhm.
we were talking about AI, and we were saying, well, who owns whatever information you put out there?
Mhm.
Do you own it? He's like, well, I kind of own it. I really don't own the software, so who God knows where it goes. And I said, well, why are you using AI for it? So he has AI as a personal assistant. So if you call
Yeah.
the office, he's put so much information into it that this AI has a full conversation and you don't even know
Yep.
you're talking to an AI. And
Mhm.
he's like, I put all the information that I would answer or I would ask just on a light version, and then if it escalates, then it knows to call me or say, "Hey, leave a message, and we'll have somebody call you back." But I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, and there's something that is extremely important to anybody watching the show. Two guys, I'm just saying. And by the way, please let us know wherever you're watching or listening in the world, and maybe what your experience has been with AI. And we're on all major platforms every week. Uh, One thing that every one of these experts has said, and to a very strong degree, is if you're going to build an AI to
Mhm.
be an assistant or to go and run for things, you have to have a standalone computer and not your computer because it will have access to everything that's in your computer. And obviously,
Mm,
that you don't want. Uh,
correct.
and it can grab something and send out to someone that maybe you don't want them to see, or it has nothing to do with your business. So they all suggest that you buy, even if it's pre-owned or whatever it is, if you don't want to go for new, a separate standalone if you're trying to build uh, a side hustle or a business, to not do
Correct.
it in your computer. Which, there you go with the guardrails again. Then it's like, so this can be dangerous, if you don't have the smarts to learn
Uh-huh.
from ground zero of how to do this properly.
It's actually a little scary, I gotta tell you, 'cause, I've been with a couple of customer service, and after a while, I'm listening, I'm like, "All right, this is
Mm,
AI." And then I just ask for operator, operator, and I'll just keep repeating until it eventually bounces over to a person. But
yeah,
if you're not careful, you'll go through this whole thing. But it amazes me how open people are, right? A few almost like 2 months ago, saw an article that said ChatGPT opened their ChatGPT Health, and over 10 million people have put their
yeah.
medical records into a ChatGPT, which
Oh,
is
oh,
it's open source. It's like putting it on Google.
absolutely.
Is so, and I get it. I get it. It's like, I tell my mom, I'm like, stop reading WebMD. I was like, you're gonna be crippled by the end of the day. You got you started off with a headache. Now you're coming
Nah,
off like you're almost blind at the end of the day. Like,
yeah,
come on. And that's
I
how
know.
this thing is. And it's amazing. But it's surprising how many people do trust it. I'm just not at that stage, especially with that type of personal information.
Yeah, once it goes. And to me, it's like, okay, where's it going? And who can see that? And there's the negative side about the AI, which is why all the experts insist that you have a standalone computer that only does that work. I was watching one that was OpenClaw. It used to be called OpenBot, BOT.
Mm,
Now it's called OpenClaw. And you can build these agents. And that's for people like us that we have our business and go out
yeah.
there and find things. For people that really need to learn maybe on their own, and you go into chat GPT, if it's used the right way, you can really get a great education
Yes.
about what you're looking for, what you need to know, even maybe prior to going to a meeting, or just to learn about something that maybe you're interested in that doesn't necessarily have to do with business. And that I find fascinating, of that you can get answers. Sometimes we've punched in things and in 30 seconds, it spits it out. Uh, but for people that are first getting into it, it's not gonna just tell you the first time. You have to keep going in and
Correct.
tweaking it about what you want it, to know. But I'm wondering, even like a business like yours, the cigar business, that, where is that gonna go with product at some point? At some point, as I said earlier, if you buy your cigars through someone, or anybody buys lamps through a middleman, chat, and AI will say, "Well, why don't we just go to the source?" And say, "Look, I need X amount every month, and this is what my price point is. Can we do this?" I think that's going to be the future of where it goes.
I gotta tell you, we have tried it, and I mean, Carmen and I, we both blend cigars and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
in doing research, I've asked it to make me a blend, specific blend. I want blah 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 blah,
Oh,
and
okay.
bouncing off with master blenders and stuff. Because I'll catch some things or camera will catch some things. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And in conversation, we'll call people that we know. And I got to tell you, it's been like 90% on the money.
Yeah.
So it keeps learning. It keeps learning. Obviously, it grabs from all over and it keeps learning. But the more it gets taught, I mean, the more advanced it keeps getting on a daily basis.
With AI, the more you put into it as far as having a conversation the way you said earlier, and the more it learns about what it is that you want, it gets better and better and better. You just have to have A, the learning curve, and
Mhm.
B, you have to have the patience when you're building something to go make it go deeper and deeper and deeper. Like I said, if there's certain things on chat that you use chat, it'll spit back some pretty good answers. But if you're willing to sit there for a while, um, and maybe get off your phone or get off watching TV every 2 seconds. But if you can get into that and dedicate it, well, what if we did this and then based on the answers, tweak it even more? It's pretty amazing of what you can get back, and sometimes things that you never even thought about with what you're asking, and then you can ask it. Give me some really strong suggestions.
Mhm.
We've gone to the part where everybody wants the positive, but what I love about AI is that you can ask us and say, I want you to be completely honest that
Yes.
any parts of this that are weak, I need you to jump all over that. And within, a minute, it will come back and say, this is what you need to improve on. This one is fantastic. But that's a great uh, example that you gave of can this make a blend for you? And when it came back, my question is because you're the expert in that. When it came back with the blend between the first and I don't know how many times you did it, how good was it before you started to tweak it? Where did it start from you? And then where did you get to a point where, wow, this would be a really good blend? Now, how long did that take?
Um, a- as I kept pressing it and pressing and pressing, what it didn't give me, it's kind of like when you cook a regular plate, right? It doesn't give
Mhm.
you the percentages. Right. So I need, maybe
Oh, I see.
20%,
Okay.
or four little pieces of leaf here, and then three pieces of this leaf there. And so it gave you a generic um formula of the cigar or blend. But it didn't give you the specific on how you're going to lay it, how you're going to do it, and obviously that's up to taste and what the blender is trying to accomplish. So
Right.
the still the human part, the human element part, it'll I don't know if it'll ever master it, but it's not even close to it at all. So
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that department, it still fell. But just putting stuff, general knowledge stuff, and stuff that makes sense, it was extremely close. It was,
Yeah.
and specifically when you were asking, well, I want these notes, put it together, and then you would say, well, what notes did you go for, or what notes were you trying to accomplish? And it would tell you, well, this combined with this, it gives you this, and you're like, oh, okay. So it is picking up all the information. It really is.
Yeah. I think I would suggest to anybody, doesn't have to be for business, just a learning curve. Just if you
Yes.
want to start on a basic, go into chat GPT and start talking about maybe something that you're really interested in. At the beginning of the conversation, when you said about kids in the room, there's a dangerous slope
Yeah.
because it can ask it anything.
Correct.